Hey everybody, Canuck here, and take a look. We are in PGA Tour 2K21, so big thanks to 2K and HB Studios for giving me early access to the game. And I'm really looking forward to sharing some stuff with you guys, particularly with the designer. So if you're watching this right when it released, I am probably streaming the game right now. So if you want a real in-depth look at everything, I highly recommend you go over to my Twitch channel right now, as I'm most likely on there streaming not only the designer, but every little bit of the game. But if you want something a little bit shorter, kind of a sort of a deep dive, we're going to look at quite a few things in this video about the designer, but it'll be a lot more in-depth on my stream. But anyway, this video is going to look at the designer. So let's just jump right in and we'll take a look at what's new, what's not. I'm going to show you pretty much every menu I possibly can, some things I've found, some things I like, some things maybe I think need a little bit of work, or, maybe haven't been improved on as much as I would have liked. But overall, I'm really impressed with the designer and I'm really looking forward to seeing what people can do. So here's the designer menu. It looks the exact same as it did in 2019. You can create a new course. You can choose from your unpublished courses. You can re-edit courses you've already published, but again, they stay published. And you can import legacy courses from 2019. So for this, we are going to look at new course. So we'll create a new course for this. First thing we look at is themes. Now, maybe people might be initially disappointed with this opening screen, as they're going to see, hey, this is exactly the same as 2019. I was really hoping for some new themes. What's going on? I can't believe we don't get any themes. It's not really going to be an issue, and you're going to find out why very shortly. But for now, we're just going to choose Highlands. So I'm just going to quickly set everything. We'll just keep that. Yeah, whatever. We'll keep that as default. Layout 0. Put all these down to 0. And we'll generate a course. And what you are going to see right off the bat is probably a couple things here that is very interesting. First has the plant meter. The plant meter used to be one big yellow bar on top of the screen there. We weren't really sure how it calculated objects and things. Some things seem to take up more space than others. It is now split it into 3 different sections. So we have objects, memory, and file size. From the playing around that I've done with it so far, objects is obviously the object meter, how many you can put on your course. From what I've seen, I ported over a few courses that were completely full from 2019, and they were down to about 92% for the game. So there was a little bit of wiggle room there. So maybe your course files can be a little bit bigger. Memory, it looks like memory is kind of how many larger assets you put in. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I noticed if I were putting in bigger buildings, a whole bunch of them, it was eating up more memory. So I'm not 100% sure how that memory bar works. And file size, from what I've seen, has stayed pretty small. Even my biggest files from 2019 that I've ported over only had a file size of like 6%. So that's the one thing that's a huge difference. The second thing is right in the playtest menu, and this is probably the first big improvement in the designer, is being able to play test your courses at different wind speeds and directions. So you used to only be able to test with no wind, or you had to go out of the designer, play your unpublished courses, set the wind from there. It was a real pain. Here you can play any shot at any time with any wind speed, any direction. So it's really, really, really good. Okay. So now, let's go to the game changer, I think. And I think some people have seen this in the short video that 2K released yesterday. And, I said it was a bummer to not have any themes. Well, it doesn't really matter anymore, because if you look at your object menu, like your trees, for example, you have 33 pages now of trees, for example. And these trees are from every theme. Okay, so you can put cactuses on highlands. You can put whatever you want. You can do absolutely anything you want. So this is really going to open up some brand new themes. I was actually playing around, and I'm going to show it on my stream a little bit later. is I was able to create kind of a more Pacific coastal theme. There's some really nice looking kind of oak trees that lean, like this tree is kind of a nice one. I'll go through these trees in a little bit, but yeah, some really cool stuff there. But first, let's kind of start by going through a few more of these. The sculpt tool is still completely the same. There's no differences there. The brushes are all identical. There's no new brushes, no brushes removed. We'll go into the create add section. The create holes, that's all the exact same as how we did before. We'll spend some time in the objects menu in a bit, but we'll first just check in on surfaces and water quickly. Water, how you lay it down is, again, the same as 2019, which I don't love the way you put water in, where you just have the block of water and you kind of raise and lower it and move the land around it. You know, it works okay. It would have been nice to tilt water so we could create some new things, but again, that is not included from what I see. You can scale it this way and this way, but that's about it. Water features, those are all still the same as well. So no changes there. Surfaces, we're going to see a lot of changes. So bunkering, let's just lay down a quick bunker for a second, as I want to show you guys what the bunkers look like. They, in my mind, look a lot better. So the bunker lips, I think, look really, really good. Let's flatten this out a little bit so I can show you. Yeah. I think the bunkers look miles better than what they used to. You used to have that really thick lip in the boreal bunkers. Those are now gone. So those that wanted to do, though, you know, people are able to create some funky things with those thick boreal lips. Unfortunately, you can't do that anymore from what I see. Who knows? Maybe it might work for ported courses. I'm not sure. But from what I've seen, the bunker lips have now changed, and I think for the better, just based on this. The lips seem a little bit crisper to me. Another nice thing that we're going to notice here in our bunkers have to do with our textures. We used to have 17, 18 textures. We have almost double that now, about 33 textures. Yeah, a lot of them look pretty darn similar, but having that extra choice, that just unlocks so many more looks for people. So with bunkers, you have 33. There's 32 green textures. There's 32 fairway textures, 32 rough textures, and 32 heavy rough textures. Okay. Cart paths, a whole bunch of new cart paths. The mulch looks definitely improved for this year. The pine straw, things like that. Again, I'm going to go more in depth into this in my stream. But those textures look the same. The textures overall look so much better. Let's now look at another, I would say, big game changer that was always a pain in the butt. I'm just going to lay down a bit of fairway here. So yeah, the textures look so good in this game now. The grass, as you can see here, just looks really, really good. Huge step up from what we had in 2019. So I'm just going to quickly create a... I don't know why I'm making that thicker. Who knows? So fairway. But the big issue in 2019 is when we wanted to lay down some heavy rough. You know, when we wanted to lay down some heavy rough, we had to worry about getting not too close to this little rough edge. Otherwise, it would make it all squiggly. And for a lot of us veteran designers, we just could not stand that, and it had been going on since the original TGC game. I am now pleased to tell you that that is now disappeared. As you watch this, I'm laying the heavy rough directly down on the rough layer, and there it goes. It still stays exactly the same, and it blends in really, really, really nicely, the heavy rough. So that is a massive time saver. And for me, maybe one of my most exciting things that I've seen in the designer in a while, which is pretty minor, but to me, that's going to save me 2-3 hours a course easily. So exciting stuff there. Let's see. Is there anything else in these? No, I don't think there were anything else in the surfaces. Let's get to what you guys really want to see. You want to see some new stuff. And I'm going to show you some new stuff. So we'll go through the objects menu. Now, I'm going to go through it pretty quickly. Again, if you want a really more in-depth one, I'm going to go through every single object and tree in my stream, and I will upload that stream to YouTube. It's going to be a long one. we'll do a real deep dive there. But as you can see, trees, we have 33 pages of them. Some really nice different ones here. Some ash trees. Obviously, got like 3 pages of ash trees. Some that we've seen, some that are brand new. Some nice little birches, aspens, tons of different bushes. Like these are nice. These little flowery bushes here. It's endless what people are going to be able to do with this and the different combinations. You're going to have some deserty bushes in here. I could see some people making some nice like lynxy kind of gorse bushes, maybe with this this desert bush. I think that's going to be really cool. Some nice cedar trees. The cypress trees are kind of neat. These little like tendril things hanging off of them. I like that. Lots of different cypress trees. The colors maybe not 100% sold on the color of the cypress tree, but these are where you can get, where you can definitely pull off a cool Pacific Northwest or Pacific coastal California kind of theme. So you may be thinking, I like these fir trees too. These would be great in a Swiss theme. You may be thinking, oh my goodness, I have to go through 33 pages of trees. Like, what if I really like a tree on page 18 or whatever? Do I have to go through this menu every single time to find it? Well, luckily to say, you're not going to have to. So let's, for example, I'm just going to lay down a couple different types of trees. So here's an oak tree. Or maybe I really like this tree. I put down a few of these. Maybe I like this funky looking oak tree. That's pretty neat. Okay, so, let's say I'm using kind of those trees mainly, and then when I go plant another hole, I'm like, oh, I got to scroll all the way to page 17 for that. No, you don't. Okay, there's a couple nice things here. If you look over on the controls menu over on the right, press the Y button, it'll show just the theme objects. So it's just going to show the trees from the original Highlands theme from TGC 2019, which is great. If you want to press it again, it says show placed objects, and then you'll get a new menu where it will only show the trees that you have planted. So this will be a huge time saver. So all the trees that you've already planted will show up here. So that's pretty cool. Another thing that's nice in terms of, for example, if you want to do some quicker multi-planting, there's actually a new way to multi-plant, and you can actually now plant using splines. So here, for example, is an ash tree. See how there's a spline fill on the right there? I'm going to press Y, and I can spline out where I would like to have those trees. And I can have a whole bunch of trees like that. I don't know if that's something I'm going to use a ton, but maybe it works for plants, rocks, grass. As a quick way of planting grass, for example, I could see myself using it. So definitely a new improvement, bit of a time saver for people as well. But again, something you got to be really careful with is you don't want to use it too much, as your object meter will definitely take a hit. So anyway, back to a few more different types of trees. You've got some tropical ones here. These sycamores are cool. We got some purple sycamores. I really like these. Look at all these cool little dead sycamore trees. These are really neat. Again, something where you can do like a coastal California kind of theme, or maybe like you could put these in a desert theme. Who knows? The options are going to be endless. Poplars, some pines. You like pine trees? There's 5 pages of them, I think. 5 or 6 pages of them. Some real neat ones I haven't seen before. And, some old classics as well. These pine trees, too. Really depends on what you're looking for. You got these kind of weird ones. Almost looks like there's a bird nest in this one. Pretty neat. So there's some more pines. There's your palm trees. You want palm trees in a Highlands course? You go for it. Totally up to you. Whatever you want to make. So pretty neat stuff here. These oak trees, these are going to be great for, I keep going back to the Pacific Coast California theme, but I've been playing around with that kind of look, and I've been really digging it. So lots of options for you to be able to do that. So anyway, those are your trees. In terms of the rocks, these are mostly all the same rocks, just kind of clustered together. But I can tell you the rock textures look miles better. They look really, really good. You can spline fill rocks, you can multi-object rocks. I will tell you they still do take up a significant amount of plant meter. As you can see, the object meter going up as I plant these rocks. So, just be careful with multi-planted rocks. Maybe not as much of a huge impact as 2019, but still pretty significant. So be careful when you multi-plant rocks. As for plants, few new ones here. This is kind of where the regular plants and the global plants have kind of been pushed together. So there's a few new ones. These begonias are new. A few different types of cactuses. I love me some cactuses. These are some cool ones. Some cool options there for desert. I really like these new little purple flowers. This thing's called Hawaiian ties. These are neat. Add some color to your course. Petunias, marigolds, some funky, more tropical plants here. Loving these new assets. And then from here on, these are kind of more classic ones, more global plants that we see. My favorite plant makes a reappearance. I'm glad they kept that one in. But yeah, those are mostly old, except for these ones on the last page. Snapdragons and sun patience. I'm not a flower person, but I could definitely see myself using these guys as well. And for grass, few different types of grasses. We got some really cool little bulrushes here that I can definitely see using in the water quite a bit. This is an interesting one. I don't know if I would use it straight up like this. I would probably sink it in more, and I would use it. You could almost use it as fescue. Maybe you could use it at. Maybe it's a little bright for fescue, but you definitely use it around water, almost to create like a bulrush effect as well. And then not too much from what I saw different with grasses from here. A few different ones over here with the more deserty kind of grass here. I think that might be a new one. Lots to play with there. Okay, so that's about it for the nature. That was probably the biggest one, but there are definitely some new additions as we move our way down. Walls and fences in terms of how you kind of do retaining walls. I know retaining walls are a massive pain in the butt. Unfortunately, I'm here to say they are still a pain in the butt from what I'm seeing. I'm not a big retaining wall guy, but they're not as much of a pain in the butt. They blend a lot better than they used to. Okay, but if you still want that really flush look, I think a lot of people might have to double or triple these up from very early look on. I could be proven wrong here, but on early testing from what I saw, these are a big improvement, but I still think that these need to be fit. Like if I were to... Actually, that's not bad. Still trying to figure out how good these actually are. But we'll see as I dig a little deeper. I haven't had a ton of time to work with this. Anyway, back to walls and fences. In terms of new walls and fences, the only really new one I found here were these canvas walls. So I could see for creating kind of more of a tournament atmosphere, tournament setup using these canvas walls. We got blue, green, black, and some white as well. Lots of options there. Gonna be fun. Over to buildings. In some sections here, lots of new buildings. In other sections, disappointingly few new buildings, if any. Washrooms is the one good one. If you like bathrooms, you're gonna love these. Really nice new ones here. Quite a few new bathrooms. They went all out for their bathrooms here. A few old ones, but a lot of new ones there. That's cool. The townhouses, from what I've seen, have pretty much stayed the exact same. I don't notice any new houses. The houses I thought were a pretty good selection to begin with. A few more models would have been nice, but such is life. Shelters, few new shelters. This is a funky looking one. I could see this as being almost like a clubhouse entrance, or kind of just like an archway near your clubhouse. I could see that being used a lot. This shelter, I'm not 100% sure what this shelter's for, but it almost kind of seems like stackable. I don't know. Who knows what people can do with this? I don't know what that one's for, but I bet people find creative ways to use it. We've got our other shelters here. few new ones. But yeah, some to play with there. In the miscellaneous section, a few different things. Cart shed, car park, those are all the same. A few nice industrial buildings, including one gigantic industrial building. I'm not sure why this one is so big. It's almost like an Amazon warehouse. As you can see, that brought the memory bar up like 2%. So that's a big building. Not sure that would be used, but hey, I'm sure someone will find a use for it. We got this big red building. Look, we got pools, swimming pools. I could see these being in addition to clubhouses or backyards. A few different options there. I love that. Sheds. We always gave HB a hard time for, we get that content update. There was a whole bunch of sheds. some more new sheds, actually. This is actually a really nice shed. I like that one. That could almost be a clubhouse. Kind of. Few new sheds. A couple more surprises here. Actually, a whole bunch of sheds. These red ones here. And looky here, we got some tennis courts. We got this tennis court, and we have another tennis court. More of a stadium-y tennis court. That's neat. A lot of designers were building tennis courts out of yardage markers and things like that, so won't have to do that anymore. Ticket building. This is a neat little building as well. The trailer. Windmill and turbine. I did test these. Unfortunately, these still do not spin, which is a bit of a bummer. Now, speaking of noticing something a little weird here, why is there a big shadow right here? That is where I planted my warehouse. And now it's... Oh. Wait. Huh. It almost like pretends it's still there. Hold on a second. While I'm doing these. That is odd. Almost like it thinks it's still there. Okay, that might be a little bit bugged. Again, this is a work in progress build, so we were told that there were going to be some bugs and issues with it that they are going to work on fixing. So that is definitely one of them. Anyway, interesting. First time I've come across that one. Back to this stuff. The miscellaneous we went through. The lighthouses, those are all the same. Nothing new there. Crowd seating. If you're really into a tournament atmosphere, you've got a lot of new options. There's some really cool new seating options here. Different seat styles, different colors. There's lots here. So that's pretty neat. Concessions. There's a few new concession tents. And there's even some concession stands. These almost look like Masters style concession stands. They even got little menus on there. That's pretty cool. I like it. I'm digging those. Maybe the biggest disappointment, I would say, are the clubhouses. We still have the same 9 clubhouses I think we've had since TGC2, and there were no new ones added. That's a bit of a disappointment, I would say. Definitely a bit of a disappointment. City buildings, these are all remain the same too. I like the selection of these in 2019. Unfortunately, there aren't any new ones from what I'm seeing, at least so far. Camera towers, there's some cool little camera cranes, and then some kind of scaffolding style ones as well. So that's in the buildings. In the furniture section, there's a few weird miscellaneous container things. Water coolers are the same. Trash cans, I think, are the same. Lights, there's a few different types of lights. Benches, I think I spotted this one new bench. Everything else is pretty much the same. Patio sets and water features, those are the same too. Signs, if you're big into signs, there's some speed limit signs. A few new things there. All of these are all this. Oh, one new thing here. I noticed the yardage markers. We've got these little circular yardage markers, which are kind of cool. Not sure if you can actually hit these and if they ricochet anywhere. I haven't tested that yet, but I think... Did I notice anything else? Oh yeah, these markers are different. These little green markers with the little notches in them to indicate yardage. I kind of like those. Bridges. I noticed a few new bridges here on this top page. This bridge looks new. I really like this bridge. And this is just a longer, more like boardwalky bridge, so a little bit easier to maybe make larger boardwalks or whatever your heart desires there. But sectional bridges, those are all the same too. Equipment, I didn't notice anything here. Driving range, maybe like some HB Studios dividers. That's about it. Vehicles. The sea vehicles were all the same. The land vehicles, whole bunch of different colors of cars. And we get some vans. Kind of neat. Wildlife are all the same from what I saw. I mean, I don't know if we really needed any more animals. I missed the old bear from TGC1. We used to have a bear. I think there's some new butterflies. And maybe a raven. Yeah. Again, not quite sure how these guys work if you put them up. So they used to, if you had elevation, they used to fly into the mountains. I'm not sure if that still happens. I've not had time to test it yet. So that's about it for objects. I'm just trying to think, was there anything else I wanted to show you guys? If there is, I will definitely be showing you on the stream coming up. Well, I guess we should look at the settings. The themes are all the same. Backdrops, you're not getting any new backdrops from what I saw, but I have seen a massive improvement in the Highlands backdrops. These look way better than they used to. So that's a big plus. I don't remember this regenerate button in 2019. I don't know if I just didn't use it or what, but you can actually regenerate the terrain and start from scratch if you want, which is cool as well. So that is a very, very quick run through of the designer. So a lot of new objects and assets, being able to unlock all those objects, I think are huge and are just going to put a whole new amount of life into the designer. Yeah, some people may argue maybe there's not enough stuff there, and I can see the argument there as well. We always want more stuff. But for me personally, kind of based on my expectations, to me it exceeded them. So I'm excited to come up with some new ideas and see what other people come up with in this designer. And keep an eye out for my Course Design 101 tutorials. I'm hoping I will get them out for day one. But I still have a lot of fiddling around to do with the designer, and it really depends on when I get my copy of the game. This preview copy runs out in a couple days, so I won't be able to do any tutorials until just before release. So we'll see when that happens, but you will get some Course Design 101 tutorials at some point. So stay tuned for that, as I look forward to making those for you. Thank you guys very much. And again, if you want more of a detailed deep dive into the designer as well as all other things PGA Tour 2K21, please check out my stream, which is happening Thursday morning, or as you're watching this today, over on my Twitch stream. And again, it will be uploaded to YouTube afterwards. But thank you for watching, and I look forward to producing a whole bunch of more PGA 2K21 content here on YouTube and on Twitch as well.